I gripped the steering wheel at 2 in the morning, a 15-ton tractor rattling behind me on the trailer. My mother-in-law was about to wake up to a very special delivery. The highway stretched empty ahead, giving me 3 hours to think about what brought me here. 3 hours to remember every snide comment, every manipulative phone call, every time Linda had crushed my wife Sarah's spirit with surgical precision. But I wasn't thinking about the past. I was thinking about the look on Linda's face when she opened her front door in Long Island. Sarah was asleep back at the cabin with our 3 kids, completely unaware I'd loaded half a shed onto my trailer. She thought I was being reasonable, waiting for her mother to figure out what she wanted with all this junk she'd supposedly inherited. The junk she'd never once visited in 5 years. The junk that was currently preventing me from building the garage Sarah had been dreaming about since we bought the place. Linda had made her position crystal clear 2 weeks ago on the phone. That tractor is mine. Those tools are mine. You touch any of it, I'll sue you both into oblivion. The threat had sent Sarah into a tailspin of anxiety. I'd found her crying in the bathroom that night, trying to hide it from the kids. That's when I knew something had to change. The engine hummed beneath me as I passed the exit for Greenwich. Linda had driven through here just 3 months ago to pick up a lamp from an auction. A lamp! But she couldn't drive the extra 30 minutes to see her grandson blow out 7 candles on his birthday cake. The memory made my jaw clench. I'd been married to Sarah for 12 years. 12 years of watching Linda drain the life from every family gathering. 12 years of manufactured crises and emotional manipulation. The woman had visited our home exactly once in 5 years, and that was only because she'd already made the trip for furniture. The cabin had seemed like freedom when we bought it. 17 acres of peace in upstate New York, far from Linda's toxic orbit. Sarah's uncle had been eager to sell, happy to pass it to family who'd actually use it. The contract specified all contents conveyed. Everything. Her uncle had been clear he wanted none of it. Then Linda's call came. I need to talk about my things at the cabin. Not congratulations on your purchase or what a wonderful investment, just demands. She'd rattled off an inventory like she'd been planning it for months. The chainsaws her brother left her, the shop vac, tools she couldn't name but insisted were valuable, and the tractor, the broken down Ford that hadn't run in a decade, sitting in a shed we wanted to demolish. You should have collected everything before we closed, Sarah had said, her voice shaking even as she tried to sound firm. I wasn't ready. I needed time to grieve. Her brother had died 4 years ago. We'd tried compromise. We offered to sell the tractor and send her the money. She refused. We offered to deliver everything to her. She said she wasn't ready to receive it. We asked for a timeline. She said we were being disrespectful of her emotional process. Meanwhile, the shed was taking up space where our garage needed to go. The contractor was scheduled to start in 2 weeks. Just give me the word, I'd told Sarah last weekend while we were up at the cabin. I'll handle your mother. How? I'd smiled. Trust me. That Friday night, after we'd put the kids to bed, I started gathering Linda's items. Sarah found me in the shed, organizing tools into a large wooden crate. What are you doing? Putting your mom's stuff together. Why now? Because the garage starts next weekend. This all needs to go. Sarah had stared at the tractor, doubt crossing her face. She'll lose her mind. Let her. She'll call, she'll text, she'll show up here. No, she won't. She hasn't visited in 5 years. She's not. About to start now. Sarah had gone quiet, that familiar exhaustion settling over her features, the exhaustion that came from a lifetime of Linda's emotional terrorism. Do whatever you want with it, she'd finally said. I'm done caring. She'd gone inside to bed. The kids were asleep in their rooms, windows open to catch the summer breeze. I'd waited another hour to be sure everyone was deep asleep. Then I'd hooked up the trailer. The tractor didn't run, which made loading it a challenge. I'd had to winch it up inch by inch, trying to keep the mechanical whine as quiet as possible. Every sound felt amplified in the darkness. Every creak of metal made me freeze, listening for movement from the cabin. It took 90 minutes to get everything secured. The crate full of tools, the chainsaws, the shop vac that probably cost $40 new. All of Linda's inheritance that she'd never once come to see. I'd left a note on the kitchen counter for Sarah. Went to deliver your mom's things. Back by breakfast. Love you. Now I was halfway to Long Island, adrenaline keeping me alert despite the late hour. The roads were empty, just me and the occasional trucker making overnight runs. The trailer handled well despite its heavy load. I'd made this drive dozens of times visiting Sarah's family, always dreading the destination. Not tonight. Tonight I was looking forward to arrival. My phone buzzed in the cup holder. A text from Sarah. "Where are you? Your note is vague." I didn't respond. She'd understand soon enough. The GPS showed 90 minutes remaining. I ran through the plan again. Linda's house sat on a narrow street with barely enough room for one car to pass. Her driveway was even tighter, wedged between her house and her neighbor's fence. I'd need to back in carefully. Another text from Sarah. "Seriously, what's going on?" Still didn't answer. This was the kind of thing that was easier to apologize for than ask permission for. The exit for Long Island appeared. I merged off the highway, following the familiar route through increasingly suburban streets. Even at this hour, streetlights illuminated everything in orange sodium glow. Linda's neighborhood appeared, identical houses pressed together like sardines. I slowed down, scanning for her address. There, the yellow house with white shutters. Linda's car parked in the driveway beside her late husband's boat that hadn't touched water in 8 years. I pulled past the house, checking the street. No lights on in any windows. No cars moving. Perfect. I shifted into reverse. One hand on the wheel, eyes on the mirrors. The trailer crept backward, angling toward Linda's driveway. Almost there. A little more. The trailer wheels crunched onto her gravel drive. I kept backing up until the tractor sat directly behind her car, blocking it completely. Then I put the truck in park and killed the engine. The silence was profound. I climbed out, boots hitting the ground softly. The neighborhood slept around me. Not even a dog barked. I walked to the back of the trailer and started unlatching the chains holding the tractor in place. Each link felt heavy with significance. This wasn't just about a garage. This was about every boundary Linda had trampled. Every time she'd made Sarah feel small. Every holiday ruined. Every achievement diminished. Every moment of joy she'd poisoned. The chains came free. I grabbed the winch control and started lowering the ramps. The metal scraped slightly. I froze, watching Linda's upstairs window. No movement. The ramps locked into place. I started unwinding the winch cable, releasing the tractor inch by inch. It rolled backward down the ramps with surprising momentum despite its bulk. I guided it with one hand, letting gravity do the work. The tractor settled onto Linda's driveway with a heavy thud. Still no lights from the house. I went back for the crate. It weighed at least 200 pounds, packed tight with all her precious tools. I dragged it to the edge of the trailer, then tipped it over. It hit the driveway with a crash that seemed to echo through the entire neighborhood. Lights flickered on in a house across the street. I moved faster now. The chainsaws went next to the crate. The shop vac. A bag of miscellaneous hand tools. Everything Linda had claimed was irreplaceable. Everything she'd threatened to sue us over. A light came on in Linda's upstairs window. I walked calmly back to my truck, climbed in, and started the engine. The trailer ramps were still down, but I didn't care. I threw the truck and drive. Linda's front door flew open. She stood there in a bathrobe, hair wild, face twisted in confusion and rage. Our eyes met through my window. I gave her a small wave. Then I drove away, ramps dragging sparks on the pavement until I stopped at the end of the block to properly secure them. My phone exploded with calls. Linda's number flashed on the screen over and over. I declined each one, focusing on the road. The drive back felt shorter, lighter. Dawn was breaking by the time I pulled up to the cabin. Sarah stood on the porch, coffee mug in hand, expression unreadable. I climbed out of the truck. The empty trailer felt like freedom. "You didn't," Sarah said. "I did." "All of it?" Every single item she claimed was hers. It's all in her driveway. The tractor's blocking her car. Sarah's mouth opened, closed, opened again. She's going to freak out. She already is. I have 17 missed calls. Oh my God. She said she wanted her stuff. Now she has it. Our problem is solved. Sarah set down her coffee mug and walked toward me. For a moment, I couldn't read her expression. Then she started laughing. Not polite laughter, but the deep, cathartic kind that comes from years of suppressed frustration finally finding release. She threw her arms around me. You're insane. I know. She's going to call and scream? Probably. She's going to demand we come get everything back. Not our problem. It's her stuff on her property now. She can figure out what to do with it. Sarah pulled back, eyes shining. You really just dumped a tractor in her driveway at 2 in the morning? 2:15, technically. She kissed me hard. I love you so much right now. My phone rang again. Linda's name flashed on the screen. Sarah and I looked at each other. Answer it, Sarah said. Put it on speaker. I accepted the call. Hello? What have you done? Linda's voice screeched through the speaker. There's a tractor in my driveway and tools everywhere. The neighbors are staring. Do you have any idea how humiliating this is? You said you wanted your things, I replied calmly. You said they were precious to you. You threatened to sue us if we got rid of them, so I delivered them. You can't just dump this stuff at my house. It's your stuff. You inherited it. You made that very clear. I don't have room for a tractor. That's unfortunate, but it's not our problem anymore. You take this back right now. No. The single word hung in the air like a thunderclap. Excuse me? Linda's voice went dangerously quiet. No, I repeated. You've spent 5 years holding this over us. You threatened legal action if we touched your inheritance. Well, congratulations. You have it now. You want to get rid of it? Sell it. You want to keep it? That's your choice. But it's not coming back to our property. Sarah! Linda's voice went shrill. Sarah, are you there? Are you letting her talk to me this way? Sarah stepped closer to the phone. I'm here, Mom. Tell her to bring my things back to the cabin. No. The second no was even more powerful than the first. What did you say to me? I said, no, Mom. This is your stuff. You kept it from us for years, preventing us from using our own property. Now it's yours to deal with. I'm your mother. And I'm your daughter. The daughter you couldn't bother visiting when her son turned 7. The daughter who's bent over backward trying to accommodate your demands. I'm done. You're done, you ungrateful... Sarah ended the call. We stood there in the early morning light, the phone silent in my hand. The kids would be up soon. The contractor was coming next weekend. The shed would come down, and we'd finally build the garage Sarah had been planning. She's going to tell everyone we're horrible, Sarah said softly. Let her. The family will take her side. Some of them, the ones who matter, won't. Sarah nodded slowly. Thank you. For what? For doing what I couldn't. For standing up to her. I pulled her close. We're partners. Your battles are my battles. The phone started ringing again. This time it was Sarah's aunt, then her cousin, then Linda again. We ignored them all. Inside, I could hear the kids starting to stir. Soon, they'd come running out, asking about breakfast, wanting to explore the woods, living the childhood we'd dreamed of giving them. A childhood free from toxic grandparents and manipulative demands. The sun climbed higher. My phone kept buzzing with increasingly frantic messages from Linda and her flying monkeys. Each message made it clearer that we'd crossed a line. There'd be fallout. Family gatherings would be awkward. Some relatives would cut us off entirely. But sitting there on the porch with Sarah, watching the morning light filter through the trees, I didn't care. Sometimes the only way to deal with a black hole is to stop letting it pull you in. We spent that day at the cabin, ignoring our phones, playing with the kids. By evening, the messages had slowed. Linda had apparently called everyone she knew, looking for sympathy. According to one text from Sarah's sympathetic cousin, half the family thought we were horrible. The other half was quietly impressed. She tried to get your uncle to go pick up the tractor, the cousin wrote. He told her it was her problem. Sarah read the message and smiled. That night, after the kids were asleep, we sat on the porch with wine and watched the stars. The property felt different now, lighter, ours. Think she'll actually sue? Sarah asked. No, she'd have to admit in court that she never visited her grandkids, but drove out of state for a lamp. Sarah snorted wine through her nose. Oh my God, I forgot about the lamp. I didn't. That's what clinched it for me. The tractor could sit in her driveway forever, as far as I'm concerned. What if she demands we pay to remove it? Then she can keep demanding. It's her tractor. She inherited it. She wanted to keep it. Now she has it. Sarah was quiet for a moment. You know it's crazy? I feel guilty. Even now, I feel bad that we upset her. That's what she's counting on. That's how she's controlled you your whole life. I know. Intellectually, I know. But the guilt is still there. It'll fade. Give it time. She leaned against my shoulder. Promise me something. Anything. If I ever become like her, you'll tell me. You'll stop me. You won't. But if I do, then I'll load you into my truck at 2 a.m. and dump you at a rest stop. She burst out laughing. Deal. We stayed out there until midnight, talking about the garage, about teaching the kids to fish in the creek, about all the summers ahead without Linda's shadow hanging over us. My phone buzzed one last time. A message from Linda. You've destroyed this family. I hope you're happy. I showed it to Sarah. She read it, then took the phone and typed a response. We're very happy. Hope you enjoy the tractor. She hit send before I could stop her. Too much? She asked. Perfect. The next morning, we started measuring out the space for the garage. The shed came down easier than expected, like it had been waiting for permission to fall. We hauled away the debris and marked out the foundation. The contractor arrived on schedule the following weekend. He took one look at the space and whistled. Nice and clear. This'll go up quick. We had some obstacles, Sarah said, but we dealt with them. Good for you. Too many folks let stuff pile up, can't ever move forward. He didn't know how right he was. The garage went up over the next month. Every weekend, we drove up to check progress. Every weekend, my phone had fewer messages from Linda. She'd moved on to other targets, other dramas. We heard through the family grapevine that she'd eventually paid someone to haul the tractor to a scrapyard. The tools stayed in her garage, unused. The chainsaws probably rusted. Sarah's uncle called once, trying to mediate. Linda's very hurt. Linda's very good at being hurt, Sarah replied. It's her favorite hobby. She's still your mother, and she's always going to be my mother. But that doesn't mean she gets to control our lives. He'd sighed. Fair enough. For what it's worth, I think you did the right thing. Someone needed to stand up to her eventually. That call felt like absolution. By summer's end, the garage was finished. Beautiful, spacious, with room for both cars and all the kids' bikes and toys. We threw a party to celebrate, inviting the family members who hadn't chosen Linda's side. Sarah's favorite cousin showed up with a gag gift, a toy tractor with a bow on it. Everyone laughed. Sarah told the story of that night, embellishing the dramatic details. By the end, people were applauding. I wish I'd seen her face, the cousin said. I did, I replied. It was magnificent. As the party wound down and guests left, Sarah and I stood in the finished garage, admiring what we'd built. Not just the structure, but the boundary. The line we'd finally drawn. No regrets? I asked. None. You? Only that I didn't do it sooner, she kissed me. We did it when we were ready. The kids ran through, playing tag, their laughter echoing off the new walls. This was what we'd wanted. This space, this freedom, this life. Linda never apologized. We never expected her to. But she did stop calling with demands. Stopped treating our property like her storage unit. Stopped assuming she could manipulate us into compliance. Sometimes people need a 2-ton wake-up call. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Would you have done the same thing?